Hey, this is Diane. I just finished making the video showing these 3 journals that are ready to be sold, and I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video when they would be in my shop. So I'm here to tell you they will be in my shop on Friday, the day you see this video, at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? 5 p.m. Eastern Time today, Friday, the day you see the video. And now on to the video. Hello everyone, this is Diane. Thank you so much for joining me today at my Pretty Pink Cottage channel. And you can see here I have 4 journals all completed. This one is the one I'm keeping, and so I don't know if I'll go through that one with you today, but we will definitely go through these 3. So let's just get started. I'll just show you this because I sewed a couple strips of unbleached muslin together to make a long enough strip, and then I just sewed all around it to keep it from unraveling too much. And I just wanted to show you that's what it looks like tied on in a bow. And I'll set that aside and we'll go through these. So these will all come with that tie on them. All of these journals were created with the cover of one of the greeting card companies' gift books, or date books, I mean. So this one is from Ambassador, and all 4 of them are from a different card company. This one is from Ambassador from 1974. She does have a little bit of ink on her, but it's not that noticeable. And this one is Gibson with a beautiful flowers on it in pretty colors. And this one is American Greetings. And this is 1967. This is the oldest one. And this one is 1971. So let's start with this one. So in addition to the date book cover, I have a quilted piece. They were just cut in random shapes. I got them from an Etsy seller, and I don't remember who I got them from. And they're attached to a wallpaper from a sample book. So it's kind of like a vinyl wallpaper. And then I added a lot of embellishments. So some fabric pieces, some crochet pieces, and little fabrics. And this one has a little piece of a velvet ribbon. It was just a scrap I had hanging around. And this piece of mesh from something vintage. And I added a yo-yo and some vintage fringe trim. It looks like it was for upholstery. So that's the 1974 Ambassador book. And that's what they'll go by. This is 1974 Ambassador. There's a lot of pages in here, and I don't remember how many. I think I had 70 folded pages, not counting bags. And then I added 1 or 2 things more, so I'll have to count them. They're lined with another piece of wallpaper, and they all have a big lace pocket that goes all the way across. They all have the same things in the front and back covers. So this is a tag that we made in a video. This is from a 1959 calendar. And you'll see another portion of this inside the journal. And this is a vintage bingo card, and I just stitched a couple pieces of fabric to it and added some paper to the back, so it's not just that ugly bare brown chipboard. Looks like I need to glue this lace on a little better. Before I forget. Okay, so then we start off with a coloring book page, which has a couple of tickets stapled to it. And I will say again, I have these colorful tickets in my Etsy shop. There are, I think it's 8 different colors. And there's a little popcorn bag in here, and there are 2 tags. They're just digital tags. All of the journals have something like this from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and then they have another random one. I don't remember where this one came from. Scrapbook paper and a fabric ruffle. And this is from a book on how to play the drums. So every journal got a page out of that book. This one has some pictures of drums, and some of the pages are, it looks like a music page, but it's just drum rhythm on music lines. This is from a vintage magazine, probably from the 60s, I would say, for a pro advertisement. And then tucked in there is a German invoice for something, but it's in German, so I don't know what it is, but it's a pretty pink, isn't it? I used a few lightly sprayed papers. So this is sprayed through a stencil, and it's the dot matrix paper. There is a craft page from a binder, and a little piece of eyelet sewn to that. This paper clip was made with vintage ledger and a couple embellishments. And I did this on one of the videos, and it's one of my Tim Holtz stamps, one of my new ones, stamped on Amazon packaging. So you can write on the back of that. I want to put it back on so I don't have to go back through the books and fix things. There. This is a vintage reference book, like encyclopedia, and I sprayed that a little bit. Added some vintage fabric and an author's card. And this is ledger paper, and I added some vintage millinery flowers and leaves, just willy-nilly stitched them on there, and they're all floppy and bent and really fun. Here is a can label for blackberries, and I added some lined paper to the back, and a scrapbook piece of cardstock with some chenille. This is a page from a really cool book called How to Grow Lilies, and I just love the illustrations in this book. Here's an award certificate and a fold-a-note card that you can write on. Another scrapbook paper, it looks like marble, and it has this fabric wedge shape and some trim. This was a really cool greeting card, and it doesn't unfold. It's just a round circle, and it says "Keep on Rockin'," and that's all it says. There's no greeting really on it, no sentiments, but I thought it was really cool. I got a box of these at an estate sale, and the envelope is cool too, and you'll see that because I used it in here. This is a recipe card from Current. I think it's from Current. You can see her little face through the hole in the record, and there's just a flash card for the color purple. And this is a calendar page, so here's the back side you can write on. Some Japanese paper, and the cover of a piano book. You can write on that or collage on it. It's nice. It's soft and old, but it's sturdy enough to do some art on it if you want to. There's a small tablet page that says, "Don't say it, write it." And here is some kind of an engineer's book page. Here's the envelope for that record. So it does look like a record sleeve, but there's no hole in it. And I put this copy of an antique photo that I have in there, so you can write on that. I think in all of these envelopes, the pockets in every journal is just a large digital that I had in my stash. This is a large children's book page, and it was about finger games, so it's little songs and rhymes that you can do with children where they use their hands to express. Here's a computer stationery page with herbs all around the edges, and so that's the center of the signature. This is the other part of that calendar, 1959 calendar. And so I just made a pocket out of that. And there's a Savers book tucked in with some stamps. You can write on this or cut it apart and use it for ephemera. And just a couple of cut off pieces of scrapbook paper. They both open up. And this one has a tag that all I did was glue this image to a tag, but I didn't embellish it or add any string to it or anything. But I like that. That was in my stash, and this was in my stash. So this is mulberry paper, and she is the genuine article from an old magazine catalog. It was on very thin, fragile paper, and a digital. These are both digitals. And this is a children's book page that I added to some cardstock, and I added milk bottle cap to it. Here is the other side of that engineer's book page, and I added this children's arithmetic book page to it. This is an old page, and I didn't do any reinforcing, so just be careful with it. Don't be too rough when you're pulling your paper in and out. This is a gymnastics note paper that I picked up a whole bunch of those in different colors at a flea market a couple years ago. It's already coming unglued. And this is the other side of that music book cover with some fabric attached. This is just a picture from a gift book that had verses or poems or sentiments on them, but pretty pictures. And it's a spider web covered in dew. And it's attached to the other end of that Japanese paper. There's a poem right here. It's a little digital card tucked in this, and a vintage dairy coupon. So this is for Lassig Dairy, and that's where the bottle cap came from. The other side of the calendar, we have another coupon and a vintage photograph stapled on. This looks like something that would be in the Tim Holtz photos. Love the hat. This is a patchwork piece. It's quilted with very thin batting and very thin fabric, and cut into a heart shape. And I added one of the stamps that I stamped on white cardstock. This is a Tim Holtz set of stamps called Embroidery Floral Outlines. Oh wait, I think these are supposed to go on this. That one is embroidery because they're embroidered flowers, transfer designs. And here we have another vintage photo, and I added some paper to the back so you can write, and added a tab. It looks like a class, school class. And here's the other side of that encyclopedia. There's a recipe, and this is a paper clip made with a vintage baby lotion image from an old magazine. I need to put something in there. Let me grab it. I thought I had everything full. I didn't put them away yet. I'm putting vintage receipts or bill heads in these pockets. So this is West Burlington Dairy Company, and it's written to a profanotary in 1930. I think I'll have to fold it this way. Here's the other side of that craft book page, and here's another way that I used some of those tickets. I just sewed them to some cardstock scraps and made pockets. This is a digital and a playing card, and this is lemonade label, vintage, and it looks like it's in German. This is a little flashcard with a rug, and this adorable little clown with a little mouse playing card, and a little brown jug syrup label. This pocket I did on a video. It's just some scrapbook cardstock, some dyed fabric that I had, and this flash card. And inside I tucked this little ledger card that I sewed some fabric and a crocheted leaf to. And this is a page from this little Hallmark book, So Many Kinds of Love. This is a snack bag. You can buy these. I got this at Walmart, and it's in the Ziploc bag aisle, or the baggies aisle. And I just thought they were cute, so I bought some, and they're recyclable. There's a paper here. If you peeled that off, it would be sticky. That's to seal the bag, so don't peel that off. And this is a card that I made out of a scrap of patterned cardstock. Added a tab. And this one has a peanut bag on it and another one of those flower images and some tickets for decoration. Here's the other side of the popcorn bag, and it just has a couple of digitals. And the other side of the coloring book page with some fabric wrapped around it. And the back pocket has another large tag that is scrapbook paper glued to a large manila tag, and this is from a story illustration from an old magazine from the 40s. This is a card I got in a Happy Mail. There's a set of cards, so I'm not sure what you were supposed to do with them, but it was some activity with children. They all had a different design and different colors. And then these are the pieces that go with this. So you have the back cover and the pages. So you can use these pages, take the book apart, pull the pages out, spread the pages throughout the book and use them for journaling or whatever you want to do. Each of these journals will come with a pack. I'm just going to show you one of the packs, and then I'll show you the other two journals. So there will be some cut-off scraps as usual in various sizes, and this is a digital, and this is a leftover piece of the calendar, 1959 calendar, and a doily, a couple more tickets, and just some shapes. This came out of a book, and then I did some punching, had some punched shapes to share. These were K & Company, I think, kinds of perforated. I don't know, I've had those squares for a long time. There's a heart shape. Some of the shapes I had stapled into a cluster. Just some punched things. Some more loyalty stamps. A couple of index cards in pretty colors. And some playing cards. There's another one. This is from a game. This is from a game called The Joker's Wild, based on the TV show, the game show. Another bottle cap. And a stick that came, I don't know what it was, some kind of a fraction set for teaching children. This will not go with the journal I just showed you because that has this milk bottle cap glued into it. So one of them has an orange juice drink inside the journal, and so that will get this pack, whatever that is. So the other packs are similar, but they have, you know, the cards may be different and papers are different, but they all have the same amount of stuff, same types of things. So let's quickly look at the other two now that you know everything that's inside. So this is a pale green with white design, and I just left the quilted pieces the shape they were. I didn't cut them, and I added various pieces to it, including the fringe. And there's a piece of embroidered trim at the bottom. And this one is 1971 Gibson. Two digital tags. This one has the word wish. The crafts book page. This is made from a ledger. This has the same postcard or recipe card with the little girl and the cat. And this card says, "Hey you." Japanese paper. This is a page that was supposed to be sewn in, but it didn't get sewn in, so I didn't want you to lose it. It's a vintage paper that I think is pretty cool, so I just used another of my what do you call it, altered paper clips. And this is a very old ad from probably 1920s or older magazine for Ivory Soap Flakes, and it has the Procter & Gamble symbol right there. So you got an extra paper clip because this didn't get sewn in. This, instead of having a piano book cover, it has a certificate of award that came out of a piano book. Or maybe that was for the piano book page. I think they all have a drum page though. So this is the mechanical book page. This is the Finger Plays Old and New book title page. This one has this digital from KB and Friends. And here's the part of the calendar. And scrapbook paper cutoffs are in there, and then a couple of just some tags that I had in my stash. This is just a cut-off piece with a bread tag glued to it. This one has the skim milk pog. This is an image from a very old magazine. The gymnastics paper, where we saw the spider web. This one has some pretty violet type of flowers, and a digital, and another milk ticket or dairy ticket. There's the photograph on this one. She's so cute. What a nice smile. That opens right up. And this one is a photograph of an old car. It comes out. Jory Loganberries is the can label in this one. This is a paper clip from a knitting magazine, and the recipe is here. This lady is not from a sewing pattern. It was a digital made with sewing patterns. This is a digital card that I tucked in, and this is the vintage receipt. James Bryant, Dr. James Bryant, for carriages, buggies, sleighs, etc. And this is dated 1888. These have the same things inside, except, you know, the cards may have a different design. Look at this little girl as she's eyeing that plate of, looks like raw meat, actually. This is part of a digital set. And this one is a cub. Yeah, there is a drum page in here. So this is a pocket that I made out of wallpaper and a digital that was in my stash. And we have another of those Savers books. This one doesn't have any stamps on it. And there's a digital card and a flash card. A peanut bag. I think they all have the same flowers stamped on the one that goes in the bag. And 2 digitals in here. I should put them back to back so that you see a pretty color when you turn the page. And then the back pocket, oh, I forgot. I don't think I glued anything to, oh yes I did, I just didn't mention it. I glued an owl applique to this. If you remember, I recently got a whole bag full of appliques from an Etsy seller, or eBay seller. So this one has a pink owl on it. There's a tag. This is a genuine pattern envelope. Here's the card and the rest of the book. I tell you, these journals were so fun to make. I got to throw a bunch of scraps and leftover pieces on the covers and a whole bunch of stuff, just stuff, all throughout the book. It was fun. This one is 1967 American Greetings. And this quilted piece, as I said in one of the videos, is a little more plush than the others. You can see how pillowy this little piece of fabric looks that I sewed on. This little scrap with the daisy was just on my table, so I thought it was perfect. I sewed that on there. And I did add I added a yo-yo to every journal since I showed the finished covers in a different video. And this is a vintage bright yellow fringe at the bottom. It's another piece of fabric and a piece of trim on the back. I just really like this fabric with this cover. This one has the Ephemera's Garden tag here, and then this tag. And this one has the word kind. The other ones had fabric, but this one has a piece of crochet trim. This one says thank you for being you. This one is a double card. The piano, the front of the piano book. Digital card. St. Joseph's aspirin for children. My mother had Bayer's children's aspirin, and it was little tiny pink chewables that tasted good. See, these are probably about the same thing. So this is something I've had in my stash for a long time. I made this with the typography paper set from Graphic 45. I put black cardstock on it so it kind of looks like that black tape binding on a composition book. And I stapled it together Just made a little booklet out of it. It's just been in my stash, so there you go. And this was just a tag made with a collage board of leftover pieces on my table. And these are just scrapbook paper scraps. And your Savers book is in there. This is a piece of wrapping paper that I glued to another master board and added the milk bottle cap. Digital and a dairy coupon in there. And this picture is a sailor and a friend or a brother. This is a photo from 1939 of a little girl named Cookie standing in front of some plants, some vegetation there. This looks like an old cellar door. We used to have a cellar door like that on the house I grew up in. Open up those doors and then go down the steps into the cellar. This one has a paper clip made with a Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs can image. Again, this is a digital pattern lady and a digital card. It's not a card, it's on paper. Oh, I have to put something in there too. And I have to add one of those vintage receipts or bill heads right here. So I have to go back and add 2 things to this book. And in the pocket is another tag that I made with illustration from a magazine story. Oops, gotta glue that. And this card and the rest of the book. There we have it. I'm very happy with how these turned out. I think they're so fun. And they're soft and squishy. And they are very stuffed full of things, but you can add more because there is a lot of space between the edge of the page and the edge of the cover. So if it fattens up and this has to go up and curve down, it's still going to cover the pages. So I don't know which one is my favorite. I love the feel of this quilted, the patchwork piece. It's the only one that's patchwork. It was probably a bed cover. I love the feel of this one. And I love the fringe here and the beautiful colors, the flowers. And I really love this quilted piece too. And the colors of this just get me. That is really a good, I just love the colors. I just won't keep talking about that, but I do. So I love all of these. Let me show you mine. We've got time, so I'll just quickly go through mine. The reason I'm keeping this one is, as I said in a different video, I used to have this date book when I was in 9th grade. It's 1972 and it's Hallmark. And I took a piece of the Hobby Lobby trim, crochet trim, it looks like granny squares, and put one there because I just thought the colors were good with this. And I added, see these, I should have said at the beginning that these books are inspired by Gina Johnson from the Rebookery, from some books that she made a long time ago with these covers. And she didn't use quilted material, but she used fabric and wallpaper. And her style is just throw everything in and pretty messy. And I have to struggle a little bit with that. So these are a lot neater than hers, and it's definitely my style you see on the pages. But I did try to throw in the surprise Gina elements, like this bright calico. Kind of, it could be jarring against all this pastel and prettiness, but I like it. With this, I think, you know, this old trim, just adding all this extra stuff on is a Gina thing, but maybe she would have done it messier. So it's Gina inspired by, it's Diane inspired by Gina. That's what this style is. So we just have the same things throughout. This record says, "With all my love." There's a pink card in there because pink is my favorite color. That's why my shop and channel are called Pretty Pink Cottage. This is the back of a recorder music book. And I think my sister, I have to ask my sister, but I think I remember her playing the recorder in grade school. This is a tag I had in my stash, just again, magazine paper glued to a tag that I didn't do anything to. And this one is a digital from Mrs. Cog, and it's just a little fold out to write on. And I stuck some extra stamps in there. Instead of that little book, I just took some stamps because I have enough of those little books. I don't need to give myself another one. This is from a golden book. And my little photo is a tiny little lady standing there, and it says Central Park on it. This is the calendar page for aerobic dance, and I used to do that. So I used this card in mine because she reminded me of this girl. And this is a photograph of a group of friends, and I did not glue it to paper because it's written on the back, numbered and written. So there's a number written in pencil above the head of each lady with her corresponding name on the back. I just thought that was cute. So I'll have to tuck a card behind it that I can write on. Mine is Rinso, giant size. So it looks like they use it for dishes and clothing, because she's holding up a pan or a plate, and some of them are holding up clothing, I guess. I don't know. And this one has a digital for the International Business School. And here is another tag with an illustration. So let me show you. The picture that goes with this is in one of these journals. This was on a 2-page spread in the magazine. He's leaning casually up against the door with his finger on the doorbell, and she is running to get to the door. Oops. So there we go. These 3 journals, these will be in my shop, and I didn't say at the beginning. Maybe I'll record it and tack it on at the beginning, but these will be in my shop at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. So I think you'll see this video on Friday. So that's when they'll be in the shop. 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Don't be late. My shop is linked below. Click on the link and it'll take you to my shop. And if any of the journals are still there, you will see them there. Thank you so much for your attention today. Tell me what you think about these journals, this style of journal. It was so much fun, and it's very eclectic, and I love that. But I think the next journal is not going to be eclectic, so you'll have to come back and see what that is going to be. I'll see you then. Have a creative day. Bye.